Hello, scholars, and welcome to session 5 of our narrative writing unit. Today, we're going to take a look at what we have written already, and we're going to set goals for ourselves going forward in our writing project. So, today, your job is to set a goal for yourself that you will work towards during your writing time today. In order to get better at something, what do you have to do? That's right. You have to practice, practice, practice. Now, are you going to get better if you practice the wrong way? No, you'll just stay the same if you're practicing the wrong way, or you might even get worse. You want to make sure that you're practicing, practicing, practicing the right way. So that's why we make goals. Are goals good to have if you want to improve? Yes. So let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, Mrs. Halverson could barely run, and it would take all of my energy that I had to run up and down the block. So I decided I wanted to run better. So I set a goal that I was going to run the Nova Classic in the spring. Now, I tried a little bit every single day, and I got longer. I could run farther and farther and farther every single day. So my goal really helped me to become better at running. Your writing goal is going to help you become better at writing. We are going to continue to become better writers. I'm looking forward to it. The truth is that even the best authors in the world can still learn new things and improve on their writing. Today we are going to learn that it is good to look back at what you have learned and to look forward to what you will learn next. If you do those two things once in a while, you will feel good about the progress you have made, while also focusing on how you can improve even more. In order to help us keep track of our growth as writers, we are going to be using a checklist. This checklist is a tool that shows you the things that make up good writing. It's called a rubric. You can use this tool to help guide you to become a better writer. So scholars, we're going to use the checklist to come up with your goal today for writing. Here is our narrative writing checklist. Now, before we look at the narrative writing checklist, I want you all to make sure that you know that it's okay for you to say not yet. Okay, we are not done with our narrative writing unit, so it is okay to say not yet. It is not okay for you to just go through and mark yes on everything because you want to be done. I will read all of your stories and I will know whether or not you did do something or you didn't do something. Okay, so let's read our narrative writing checklist. I told the story bit by bit. So you didn't jump around. It wasn't a super long story. It was just a nice short story. I wrote a beginning in which I helped readers know who the characters were and what the setting was in my story. Scholars, the setting means the time and place. It's important that you have the setting in your story. So if your setting is the summertime at camp, you're going to want to make sure that your readers know that. I told my story in order by using phrases such as a little later and after that. You can also use words like first, next, and then. You're just going to want to make sure that you have transition words. Ending. I chose the action, talk, or feeling that would make a good ending and worked to write it well. I used paragraphs and skipped lines to separate what happened first from what happened later and finally in my story. Scholars, we haven't even really talked about these ones yet, so I expect all of you to be thinking, I don't have that yet. So maybe that might be a goal that you wanted to work on. Oops. Okay. Development, elaboration. I work to show what happened to and in my characters. That means that maybe you can write your feelings on the inside. Craft. I not only told my story, but also wrote it in ways that got readers to picture what was happening and that brought my story to life. So this is that mental movie thing that we already talked about. So maybe if you read your story today and you think, I'm not really showing my audience what's happening. I'm just telling them what's happening. Maybe that could be a great goal for you. Language conventions. I use what I know about spelling patterns to help me spell and edit before I write my final draft. I got help from others to check my spelling and punctuation before I wrote my final. I punctuated dialogue with comma and quotation marks. While writing, I used punctuation at the end of every sentence. I wrote in ways that helped readers to read with expression, reading some parts quickly, sometimes slowly, some parts in one sort of voice, and others in another. Okay, I do not want us to have our goals be down here. These are all very important, but they're all about editing, and we're not quite there yet. I want everyone to think about one of these in structure or development to use in order to set their goal. Okay? Use one of these to set your goal. Not the language conventions. We'll do that later. Okay. So read your story. Take a second, read your story, and see what you really need to improve on so that you can set your goal. Go ahead, pause your device now. Think about what you want your goal to be. All right, welcome back, scholars. Now that we have our goal, and you already looked at your writing, so now you are going to use the rubric to check your own writing. Look at the writing you have done in the last several days. Pull it out and start checking yourself. So if you haven't already done so, you can pause the screen here. This document will also be on the assignment, so you can also print it off if you want, or mark it up on your Google Docs. Look at the writing you have done over the last several days. Pull it out and start checking yourself. We're also going to learn to set some goals today using the rubric. You simply find the area you are weakest, make a goal to improve that area. So remember, we are not using language conventions. We'll worry about that later. I want you guys to really focus on structure and development. So choose the area that you're weakest in, and that will be your goal. So I'm not going to come around because I'm not with you today, but I would love to hear about your goals. So today, after you read your story and you go through your narrative writing checklist, I want you to set a goal and either take a picture of the goal that you set or make a little comment. This is my goal, Mrs. Halverson, Miss Tanner, Mr. Long. This is what I'm going to be working on the next few days in writing. Okay, happy writing, everybody, and I can't wait to see your goals.